Welcome, Collective. Today's reading is a guided journey through the 7 segments of self love, self awareness, self exploration, self care, self esteem, self kindness, self respect, and self growth. Each card will highlight how Spirit is guiding you to strengthen the sacred paths of your healing journey. Remember, the goal here is not perfection, is love, patience, and joy with yourself along the way. Now, remember, all these readings here are general. Take what resonate and leave the rest for the universe to recycle. These readings are also timeless. So if you're watching this, it's a perfect moment for these messages to find you. And if it brings you a smile or even some clarity, or even a moment where you just feel like you're enlightened, tap the like button so more amazing souls can join us. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here with me today. So we're doing a self-love reading, okay? And I just gave you a brief synopsis about what it's about. And so we're going to jump right into it. But before we do that, you already know I like to start with a prayer even before touching the cards. So here we go. Mind your ears for the bell. I give thanks to the most high divine spirit for being here, for surrounding us with healing energy, and for guiding today's messages. By the grace of the Most High and the Holy Spirit, this space is filled with love, peace, light, and all energies that do not serve our highest good are transmuted into love, healing, and renewing energy. Now, let's step into this reading together. So hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Okay. And I'm here and I'm loading my videos. My channel is new. My knowledge is not. My wisdom is old. Um, my channel is new. I've been for years been like this person who people in my family come to me because they want to know how I did it, how I did something different in our family, how I broke something, how I manifested something. And so I begin to notice that I tap into my intuition, but a lot of people do not. However, when it comes to having a very clear intuition and having clarity in everything, I had to find out the hard way that self love is like one of the top ingredients. Let me go ahead and cut the deck so we can just start this reading, okay? All right, and let me just get this here going. All right, so just starting the reading is called the 7 segments of self-love. Okay, it might be something that you can look up as well. But the first card is about self-awareness and what truths about yourself is Spirit trying to help you recognize right now. So let's just ask Spirit. Okay, and what came out was the Knight of Cups. Okay, and so I'm just thinking we got Knight of Cups as the first card out. It's usually when cups, we're talking about feelings and everything and emotions. So when we get into that, when it's the Knight though, it's about love, drama, chivalry. Okay, like a knight in shining armor. Okay, it could be about romance or passion. You know, however, and we are talking about love. All right. Self awareness is like the ability to recognize who you are, how you influence the world, how the world influences you. And so self awareness encompasses your ability to attune to and take accountability for your thoughts and your feelings and your behavior. Okay. So, right here with this Knight of Cups, and we're talking about love and all of that, might be in the energy of feeling passionate about yourself, which is good because this is a self love reading. So, this is going to be a good start. You're deeply connected to your truth. This is what this card is telling me. And you're aware of your strengths and you kind of if you're a lover of self like myself, I try to be gentle with myself with my flaws because I understand that perfection is probably an illusion. Okay. For us in this form, but Spirit is confirming self your self reflection with this card is opening new levels of peace and authenticity. So this is a good way to start. Okay. All right. Now, you probably got here probably by maybe doing some quiet meditation or some journaling, which is always helpful. Quiet meditation around your thoughts or your feelings, to put you in that kind of energy of a Knight of Cups. Okay. So, That's great. I just think it's amazing, you know. So we're having this, we're leaning into our self awareness and we're recognizing who we are. So it's good. And we're looking at how the world might be influencing us and how we might be influencing the world. And Spirit is showing us the beauty of that. Like just tuning into our thoughts. So let's just see, you know, starting out there is a great spot. So let's just ask, um, with the self exploration question, what new parts of yourself are you ready to be discovered? So let's ask Spirit, what new parts of ourselves ready to be discovered on this healing journey of self love? All right. And so, strength, major arcana strength. All right. What a beautiful card. Strength card, you know, in a self love reading, it's like courage, inner power, being gentle, being patient, you know, um, being resilient. Resilience is like I always say resilience is like the result of faith. Like you always bounce back because you have faith, you know. Um com- in this energy, compassion is conquering fear, which is great because when you're loving on yourself, knowing that the divine spirit does not give us a spirit of fear and totally transmuting that energy is showing real strength. Okay. And that's amazing because you're learning to embrace all parts of yourself, even the ones that you used to hide. And spirit celebrates courage to say, I'm enough right now. So, you know, the power is always in the present moment, you know, the power is always in the present moment. And so I never remember to turn this over, but it's always in the present moment. Okay. And so using that strength here. All right. So self exploration is the courage to delve into learning about ourselves in order to improve our knowledge of who we are. Right now in this world, we bump into a lot of people who are more concerned about others than themselves, and then they wonder why life is going the way that it is. Well, once you figure out that self love is the key ingredient to getting your life going in the direction that you want it to go in, you're going to be very stingy about focusing on anything that doesn't have nothing to do with your well-being. um in this energy, I would say try something new, create a hobby, you know. Prayerful reflections, you know, this card encourages you to embrace self exploration. Since you had the strength to do it, you got the courage to learn more about yourself so you can live more fully and true. So, Spirit is reminding you that your curiosity is a gift, guiding you toward new discoveries. Okay. And you're strong enough to do that. So, thank you, Spirit, for that card. The self care question, like what practices will best nourish the mind of and the body and the spirit of the collective right now, Spirit. And so Spirit says, hmm, lovers. Another major arcana that came out as, and we're talking about self care. So you're going to have to be a lover to yourself. Okay. I mean, there's nothing more clear. All right. Union, harmony, choices, love. You're going to have make meaningful choices. Okay. For yourself because it's about you. And you have to, you know, I always go divine, myself, and then, you know, my love for others, you know. And so here we are at the lovers, just telling you that, you know, in this card, what best practices. Self-care is compromise of a wide variety of things that require you to take care of yourself overall wellness. Okay. So, and you have to make that a priority because no one else is going to do it. You know, you might be creating like a daily self-care ritual. You know, I got people in my family now who notice for a very long time how I groom myself. And I never thought of it that way. There were a lot of things that I would do for me that would make me feel ready to go out in the world. And that was a form of self love. And so you're taking the time with this, you're loving on yourself. So you're going to take the time to rest, restore, and honor your needs. And so spirit is acknowledging you got to be a lover of yourself. You got to commit to yourself to protecting your energy. And you're healing too by slowing down. So thank you, Spirit, for that, you know, because we are really just trying to get this self healing journey together because we're just trying to have the best possible life here. And a lot of people come into this world without any kind of direction. And I was one of those people and never really knew why. But I tell you, hindsight and intuition and all the other good things that the divine give us is always right on time. Okay. All right, so the next question is Spirit, we want to know about honoring boundaries and self-worth. So how is Spirit helping you see your self-worth with confidence and love? So Spirit, let's ask that. So Spirit, how are you helping us see that? So we can hone in to it because we're going to be paying attention to everything. And it came out a Page of Cups in reverse. Okay. And so a Page of Cups in reverse, I'm just like, well, why the page? You know? Hmm. If it's in reverse, that's like little desire to create. Okay. And we were asking Spirit, I'm trying to see. We were asking Spirit like about honoring boundaries and how Spirit is helping them. Okay. But in this energy, I would think that you might still say yes when your heart says no, you know, and that might be keeping you from being in this energy. It might be keeping you in this energy, this Page of Cup energy, where you feel in reverse, where you feel little desire to create. So make sure you are listening to your heart so that it won't slow down your creativity. You might be struggling to enforce some boundaries, and Spirit encourages us to honor ourselves first, and peace will follow protection. Okay. So we have to make sure that we are following ourselves first because peace will follow protection. Okay. And so self esteem is the result of how you view your overall self. So honoring yourself, you got to make sure that you may be practicing daily affirmations, knowing that you can remove any obstacles that are limiting your creativity. Um, Remind yourself that you are wonderfully made. You're enough. Okay. All right. So make sure your self love is going to boost your creativity because divine is creation. All right. Now, when I get in this energy, I already know that I might not be giving myself the grace that I deserve, you know. And so there's times when we're not paying attention to if we're being kind to ourselves and our bodies react in ways. It could be headaches, it could be, muscle pain, it's going to manifest somehow. Okay. Your body's going to speak back to you when it's not feeling loved, or your spirit is going to speak back to you when your subconscious is going to contract. It's going to be all kinds of things going on. And we're about healing and helping ourselves. So we're going to ask Spirit, how can we be more gentle with ourselves? So today, okay, so we can get back into that creative energy, Spirit, how can we be almost, let me see, Spirit, how can we be, let's see, Spirit said get into a Six of Wands. Six of Wands energy. Okay, so we're going to get into a Six of Wands energy. We're going to get into empowerment, empower ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We're going to recognize that we're growing, that this is a growth process, and that it takes a little time sometimes, to get there's the journey. It's always about the journey. There's no destination. We're energy. So we're always going to be moving, you know? And so this card is like saying, like, kindness is a skill of being friendly to yourself. And so Six of Wands is saying you got to reward yourself. You gotta recognize your achievements. You gotta recognize your growth, even if it's small. You know what I mean, and that you got to realize that when self criticism arises or come up, you got to pause and respond to yourself with compassion. Like, don't let those voices. Who's sending you that energy? We know in dark energy gets sent to us. So you can't think if you're hearing whatever you're thinking are your thoughts. They're only your thoughts when you accept them and then you believe them. Because once you make them a belief becomes an action. Okay. And so this card reminds us to practice self kindness. Okay. The skill of being friendly to ourselves. Spirit is calling us to treat ourselves with patience and grace. You got to be warm to yourself just like you would your friends. You can't treat your friends better than you treat yourself. And we don't want to go around treating anyone horrible. You know, I know I say, a lot because I'm claircognate. And so that is the declaration of someone with claircognate abilities. We're always speaking as if people know when we know. And my whole purpose here on this channel is to make sure you know in case you don't, you know? Here we go. All right. So this is great. This is great. Your voice flows with authenticity and confidence when you get into this energy. And Spirit says that your self expression is healing others as you heal yourself. And I'm hoping I'm doing that now because I feel good and I just want all the people around me to feel good. I know it's our birthright. I know it's attainable if we reach for it. You know what I mean? And so I'm just here to share the news. All right. So this is good to know. Okay. I'm so glad about that. Now, uh, let's just see here. Now, we got to remember that we are enough and we're growing. All right. So we want to know what opportunities our spirit opening up for the growth right now. So we're going to ask, no, we're going to ask, no, I'm sorry. We're going to ask about the self respect. Believe it in your inner wisdom. How can you stand strong and honor your needs with love? Okay. Because it's about self love. That was the next card out. That was the question. And so self respect is the empowered ability to advocate for oneself. Okay. So we're asking spirit about that. How can we stand stronger and honor our needs with love, spirit? How can we do that? Let's see what Spirit says here. And Spirit says a Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups energy. Okay. So Spirit, look at them. It's in there. Full of all of it. Spirit said, get in your Nine of Cups. Dream about it. This is wishes fulfilled. This is contentment. This is happiness, you know? And so Spirit want us to be happy about loving ourselves. Spirit want us to have joy about loving ourselves. Spirit want us to do things that help us manifest joy and abundance and our wishes fulfilled. And so basically that's the whole purpose of it because it's a divine birthright. And when you trust your intuition and follow spirit's, nudges with faith, every decision feels guided and purposeful. Okay. And you're in harmony with your higher self. That's what self love begets. Okay, it begets this Nine of Cups energy. Thank you, Spirit, for that. We love that. You know, that's amazing. I started to write down my boundaries. I will write down one boundary that I need to uphold and practice and honor it. And I would get that down so good. I had a problem with allowing people to call my phone when they were upset to the point where it would have my blood pressure going up, and it would be about stuff that didn't have nothing to do with me. But because people thought, whatever reason, my affiliation with them or my whatever they thought, I don't know. I'm not in their heads, but they thought they could transfer like negative energy to me. You have to protect your peace because this Nine of Cups energy is dependent on that. You can't go giving your cups away, pouring them out on everybody else, especially the ones who don't have any cups to fill because they didn't knock theirs all over because they're not in alignment. Okay. I'm just giving you some big, Oracle Rose Healing Tarot advice. All right. So now we're going to get to self growth, the self worth, remembering you are enough. The question: what opportunities are spirit opening up for the growth? That was the question, the seventh question in the spread. And so, spirit, what kind of opportunities are being opened up for the collective when we do this self love? All right. And so, Three of Wands came out here. And Spirit is saying that, when I see Three of Wands, we're talking, look how he's looking in the horizon. Okay. So that's telling me whatever's out there, Spirit is going to open up new opportunities. There's going to be progress in any direction you want to go because you love it on yourself. And when you love on yourself, your heart's desires, when you're living from love, from your heart chakra, and all your cylinders are firing, all those chakras, progression, expansion, new opportunities. You're going to be going places. Okay. Now, I did bring out the Cosmic Energy Oracle card, so I'm going to grab this deck and see what Spirit has to say about that. We're just going to do a few cards here. Spirit, self-love is what we're about today, and so we appreciate and love all the messages that we are getting from Divine and our spirit guides and our ancestors. Spirit, is there any other messages? Wisdom. Wisdom comes from experience and reflection. Okay. So Spirit is inviting us to, I know I said earlier that, I just started my channel, but my knowledge runs deep, it runs ancestral. And so that's amazing because that's what you're going to pick up with self-love. And so we know that. What other things can we get as well? Some of these cosmic energy gifts. What else can we get, Spirit, as a message? I thought something came out there. Okay, here we go. Your determination. You're going to be able to face challenges with determination. You're going to be able to achieve anything. That's what Spirit says. And of course, because the fear is going to be transmuted. So you're going to be feeling like, hey, I can go anywhere. I can do anything. And you know what? I believe it. I truly believe it, and you should too. All right, Spirit, one more message for the collective about self-love and all the things to look forward to when it comes to self-love, Spirit. Thank you. Happiness. Can't make this up. Happiness comes from a fulfilled heart and harmonious relationships. That's true because once you're feeling good on the inside, you're going to express that to the outside. You're going to attract more people who love themselves. And then once people come up together, it's going to be happiness because you're going to be all in the same energy. Okay. So thank you, Spirit, for that. I really appreciate these messages. This is a really lovely reading. I just wanted to say as we close this reading, remember that the 7 segments of love, the awareness, exploring yourself, care, esteem, kindness, respect, and growth are not just practices, but sacred pathways to spirit, you know? And you know now. And Spirit uses these pathways to bring us into wholeness. So it's remembering that you are worthy and you are growing and you are deeply loved. Okay. And if this reading encouraged you to embrace yourself with more love, please like this video, share it with someone who may need this reminder. Subscribe so we can continue this healing journey together. Thank you for sharing this space with me. May the guidance from these cards continue to bring you peace, clarity, and healing. And remember, the light you seek is already within you. Until next time, keep nurturing your spirit.